The Steam Nextfest is here, and I've done the arduous task of wading through many demos to find both strategy and tactics games that I recommend. So let's dive right in, starting with Vultures, Scavengers of Death. This is an old original Resident Evil style horror game with a twist. It's actually a turn-based tactics game. In the demo you get to play as one of the two playable characters and get to explore a police station overrun with the undead. With finite resources you need to make every shot count, and the game allows you to target different areas of the enemy's bodies. For example, shooting enemies in the legs can potentially immobilize them for a turn, while hitting an enemy with a knife has the potential to bleed them. If you're the sort of person who really enjoys slowly and methodically taking apart the enemy while using a minimal amount of resources and trying to avoid as much damage as possible, I could definitely see this being appealing. I personally really enjoyed this demo and I'm looking forward to the final release. Also, if you're one of the first 1,000 people to finish the demo, you could win a free copy of the game when it launches. So if you're interested, definitely go and check this out. Next up we have Demiurgos, a indirect 4X god game. You of course play as a god and have to influence the mortals of the world to spread your faith. Turn your followers into priests and have them spread the faith. Assist your followers with their many requests, like for example, a guy being sad that his family's dead, so you decide to send him to join them, while at the same time helping your followers and cities grow, and then eventually expand and make new cities, while at the same time unlocking tenets that you can apply to your followers based on your behavior as a god. I actually found myself playing up until the end of the demo and was honestly a little sad it ended. I wanted to keep playing. I'd definitely fallen into the one more turn trap, but either way, I guess I'll have to wait for the full release. Next up we have Sanguis. This game is a spin-off to the game Other Side and mirrors its mechanics and almost inverts its art style. This is a tactical turn-based game which instead of using action points, uses time units. Both you and your enemies spend these units to carry out actions, and the more you spend, the further along the timeline you move, encouraging you to use small amounts of time so that your turns come faster, or carrying out big destructive moves that will push you far along the timeline but will eradicate your enemies. If you are a fan of Other Side, you should definitely check this game out. Moving on, we have Atre, Dominance Wars. This game is kind of a blend of Heroes of Might and Magic and King's Bounty, but it also gave me vibes of the old Kohan games. You expand, level up your heroes, build armies, and upgrade cities in typical 4X fashion. Then you transition to these sort of auto-battler battles, where you can control one unit every turn for an alpha strike, and then the rest automatically fight. But either way, a game definitely worth checking out if you're interested in 4Xs and Heroes of Might and Magic or King's Bounty likes. Next we have Terrinoth, Heroes of Descent, which is set in the world of Descent, the board game of the same name. This is a turn-based tactical RPG where you explore dungeons and fight enemies with your party of 4 adventurers, each with their own classes and skill, and a heavy focus on maneuverability, knocking enemies back and into each other and off of ledges to kill them. While I did find the dialogue a little cringeworthy, it was definitely fun to play, and the fact that it's going to have up to 4-player co-op is definitely a big plus, and so it's a game I'm going to be keeping an eye on going forward. It'd be a very pleasant game to play cooperative with some friends. Next we have Solar Wave, another 4X with indirect control. Instead of having to control each of your individual fleets, they're largely automated and will carry out their usual duties. But you can use directives very similar to the Majesty system of flags to direct them and give out direct orders. You of course do the usual 4X things of developing your economy, researching technology, colonizing planets, and building buildings. In a way, every system has its own self-contained economy, which you can then connect to a larger economic system through the use of trade hubs, which can trade resources between systems. If you're interested in a 4X which removes a lot of the tedium of having to manage each individual fleet, then I recommend checking out this demo. It definitely did a good job of letting you focus on the actual building of an empire and leaving the smaller scale affairs to your autonomous fleets. Moving on from that, we have 10,000 Coins, the Golden Merchant. This is a mercantile game about bartering, selling, and exchanging goods. You travel between settlements trying to buy low and sell high, while at the same time focusing on bartering goods in order to avoid levies from actively selling goods. There is of course combat as you travel along these roads and paths between the settlements. You can be attacked by various things, and you actually have to use your goods to fight, throwing throwing them at your enemies, making it so you have to keep stock not only for selling but also for defensive purposes. You can of course negotiate with your attackers and attempt to appease them that way if you find yourself lacking on the martial front. If you enjoy mercantile games like I do, it's an easy recommend. For our final game we have Repterra, a base building survival RTS with dinosaurs. Rather similar to other survival RTSs like They Are Billions, this is a game with a heavy focus on setting up a robust defensive position while at the same time expanding and acquiring resources out in the world to defend your base against the inevitable and never-ending seeming attacks by dinosaurs. You of course do research to acquire new upgrades and new units. You can even gain the ability to produce your own dinosaurs. You can then combine your dinosaurs with your human units by having your humans ride the dinosaurs, combining both the strengths of the humans together with the strengths of dinosaurs. You can even unlock tamers and attempt to tame the wild dinosaurs. A surprisingly fun game for such a simple concept. I was reminded a fair bit of Heroes of Annihilated Empires just because of the mass of dinosaurs on screen. If you're curious, I definitely recommend checking out the demo, as I thought it was a lot of fun. There you have it, 10 games from the Steam Next Fest. Which were your favourites? What are some games I haven't listed here that you've played and thought were great? For now though, this is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and found at least one game that interested you. Thank you again for watching and see you next time.